Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I try to explain things in the most basic way possible so they can be applied to your everyday life. But in this video, I'm going to give you my secrets, my protocol to preparing for a cheat meal or a cheat day. I hope that you can find it useful in your cheat day journeys. But before I get into the video, I'm gonna need you to smash that like button, share it, subscribe, and let's get to the video. Now, I don't know about you, but as for me, since I've started incorporating cheat meals into my weekly diet, it has changed the way I look at food as far as staying lean or bulking or whatever program that I'm on. Cheat meals are a good thing. For a very long time, I was anti cheat meal. You gotta stick to your diet. Cheat meals set you back until I did a little bit of research. Google and being able to sit down and read something is a wonderful thing. We are in the information age where if you don't know something, you can find out just about anything that you want. So one day I decided to sit down and research cheat meals. Like, how can cheat meals benefit you if you're on a fat loss? Are cheat meals necessary when bulking? When is it okay to have a cheat meal? And the truth is that as long as 80% of your diet is full of foods that are high in micronutrients and fiber, 20% of your food can be quote unquote junk food, and you can still maintain a relatively lean physique year around. But there are occasions that come up, whether they're birthdays, weddings, graduation parties, whatever, where you want to let your hair down a little bit, have a little fun, not be so serious about the food that you're going to intake for that day, and you just want to not track macros. Because let's be honest, if you've been tracking macros for a long time, you know the tedious work that it is. And there's days that you wake up and you just don't want to do it. So I came up with this protocol after some research, and this is what I came up with to minimize the amount of damage that is going to be done after the cheat meal or cheat day. Now, I don't recommend full-blown cheat days. If you're on a 1,500 calorie diet and you take in 10,000 calories one day and expect to not pay a price for that, you're sadly mistaken. You're gonna wake up the next morning probably bloated, puffy, holding a bunch of water. Though it's nothing crazy, most of it is food, glycogen, and water, but it can be a little uncomfortable. And what I've learned by implementing what I'm going to share with you drastically reduces the amount of recovery time that it takes to recover from an epic cheat meal. So let's get into it. The first thing, as soon as you wake up, as soon as your feet touch the ground, the first thing you should start doing is drinking water. Yes, you want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. And the reason why is because if you're going to have an epic cheat meal, 9 times out of 10, that meal isn't going to be prepared by you, either by a family member, a friend, or a restaurant. And a lot of times that meal is going to be pretty high in sodium. You need the water to flush out as much of that sodium as possible. So the first thing is to start hydrating. The second thing is to get a workout in. And what's kind of tricky about this, but it's not really tricky, is that it should be a fasted workout. No food, wake up, drink water, and then go get yourself a workout in. And the reason that you're working out is to deplete muscle glycogen and activate GLUT4 and 12, which are transmitters for muscle hormones and muscle growth. You want to deplete your glycogen levels so all of the cheap food, which is probably going to be high in sugar and fat and carbs, that glycogen has some place to go. It'll help to keep you from overspilling. If you're bodybuilding, and you kind of know what I mean, once you've had too many carbs, your muscles tend to overspill. Like, you start to look puffy and smooth, though it's not fat. You're just holding excess of water and muscle glycogen. So you want to get a fasted workout in to deplete your muscle glycogen. Number 3 is based on supplementation. Before you work out, you want to take in 5 grams of BCAA and 200 grams of caffeine. During the workout, you want to be sipping on another 5 to 15 grams of BCAAs, and post-workout, you want to get another 5 to 15 grams of BCAAs along with another 200 grams of caffeine. And the reason why is because you want to keep the growth hormones slightly elevated. BCAAs will help you do this. Now, the food that you're taking in can be used towards muscle building. If you do this, it can greatly increase muscle building and reduce fat storage. The caffeine is being used to decrease insulin sensitivity. Number 4, it's time to eat. Now, you woke up, you got hydrated, you got a fasted workout in, you got some supplementation going, and now it's finally time to eat. And there's certain protocol that you have to follow when you're going to start eating. Now, I'm not saying don't consume any of the foods that you want, but there's certain places that you should stay away from. Like, you should avoid fast food. Yes, I know we all love fast food. Well, I shouldn't say all of us. I love fast food because it's fast, but fast food is highly processed. You want to avoid processed foods. I'm not saying don't eat burgers and pizza. That's fine. Just get them from a place that uses quality ingredients. If you're going to consume donuts and cakes and cookies that I love all so much, instead of going for the ones that are sitting on the grocery store shelf that is highly processed, full of preservatives, you should get them from a bakery that uses quality ingredients. The more quality ingredients you put into your body and the less processed food, the less water you will hold, and the better off you will be. And also, your body doesn't really know how to digest processed food. It doesn't really recognize what it is. So it actually takes on more water trying to digest it and figure out what it is. So you want to eat as many quality ingredients as possible. Number 5, the secret to not feeling like absolute garbage the next day. If you've ever cheated pretty good, you know what I'm talking about. You wake up, you're puffy, you're bloated, your energy's low, your stomach hurts. Like, you looking back on that cheat day, like, I wish I would have never did that. There's ways to avoid that, and once again, it's with using a little bit of supplementation. Things like the night before, apple cider vinegar, probiotics, even, and I know some of you are gonna think that I'm absolute nuts. I've done this and it works, is throughout the day of the cheat day, every 2 to 3 hours, eating like a spoonful of sauerkraut. Sauerkraut out of the jar is great for digestion. It works. You have to get that food that you consumed digested, and the more efficiently you can do that, the better you're going to feel the next day. Number 6, which kind of ties into the previous 5, you want to take in about 5 grams of BCAAs throughout your cheat day. Every 2 to 3 hours, take in some BCAAs. And the reason you're doing this is to, once again, extend that growth hormone. You want to stay with the growth hormone slightly elevated throughout the entire day. So as many of those calories can be used to build muscle and not go to fat storage. This is very important. It will also keep you hydrated throughout the day. And if you're anything like me, I have to consciously remind myself to make sure that I took in enough protein. A lot of times, cheat meals don't have a whole lot of protein in them. They're usually high in carbohydrates, sodium, and fat. By taking in the BCAA, you don't have to really remind yourself to get enough protein. The amino acids from the BCAAs kind of act as protein, and it will keep your growth hormone slightly elevated throughout the day, so as many of those carbs can go towards building muscle as possible. So once again, take in 5 grams of BCAAs every 2 to 3 hours during your cheat day. And last but not least, and I say this all the time, if you had your cheat day earlier or your cheat meal earlier in the day, and later on before you go to bed you get hungry, go back to protein and veggies. Go back to some high protein, low fat, low carbohydrate meal as your last meal. If you cheated good, you should not be hungry. But if you are, to help minimize that damage, go back to a low carb, high protein, low fat meal as your last meal, and you will minimize the amount of damage and feeling like crap the next day. And the next day, just move on. For me, what I like to do is I like to get my cheat meal in earlier in the day, and it's usually one big calorie bomb where I'll eat whatever it is that I wanted. It's usually between 5,000 to 8,000 calories, and that's it. The next day I go back to my diet. Also, what I do the next day is I fast. I may not have my first meal the next day until 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. One is because I've eaten so much fat and sugar that I'm simply not hungry. I get up that following day and I have a fasted workout, and it's one of the best workouts that I've had all week. I'm not hungry or tired during that workout. And when I get home, I'll sit around for a while and then I'll finally get something to eat. So that's how I go about preparing for my cheat days. I hope that it can help you get prepared for your cheat day. Once again, I want to thank you for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at Harley Davidson or nothing. You can follow me on Twitter at FitLifeOver40. I have a podcast that you can check out. It's available on Apple and Spotify, and the name of that podcast is Fit Life Over 40. Once again, thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload. And as always, until next time, I'll see you at the next video.